Hello everybody, welcome back to the various Oddities Showcase, where I show you all of the wonderful little things that I'm tinkering with, and that are coming up in the next patches for various Oddities. And there hasn't been a whole ton of progress that I can show exactly with the last few things. The major things that we're currently struggling along with is that getting a version 114 workspace running, so we can try and make a various oddities update for that edition, is proving to be significantly difficult. The documentation isn't there, nobody's really made a really conclusive tutorial for it that I've managed to find anywhere, that kind of thing. So that's currently a no-go, but I'm still working on it, tinkering on it, that kind of thing, but that's eating time that I could be doing on other things as well. And the other thing in 112 is that we're currently trying to do a number of new things that aren't necessarily very easy or straightforward to accomplish, regardless of the version, so it's a thing I'm trying to get out of the way so I know so that I have at least some kind of idea of how to do it in 114, that kind of thing, going forward, yada yada. But one of those things leads me to this pretty much 100% deep ocean kind of world, where I'm currently wearing a special helmet so that you guys can see a bit clearer, because Lord knows the ocean is not very, visible, at least in this version. And I have in my hands two items. So one of them is the whale. We finally have an entity for the whale. And yes, I know it looks like an untextured zombie currently. Don't worry, we're still tinkering with it. I'm mostly just trying to nail down its actual vital functions before we actually get to modeling it and such. And I'd like to make it one of the first multi-part oddities that we add, so it would share some code in common then with the Ender Dragon, and that will probably get ported back to the Giants as well, and probably a few other very big mobs, so that they're not just breaking blocks and whatnot in a perfect cube, they're actually doing it to their body shape, that kind of thing. But anyways, I digress. So, here we have the whale. Doesn't sound like a whale, I know, but nonetheless, it is here, it exists, and it's not drowning, which is progress. And here I have my skeleton key to the whale stomachs, the whale bone key. Yes, that's a joke, enjoy it. And this is just a creative mode item that I can use to access any particular whale's stomach just by right-clicking on it. And you can also get into their you can get into their bellies using any kind of cooked or raw fish, but you will lose it in the process. So there is technically speaking a toll to get into a whale's stomach. But if I right-click on this one, we end up in here. It's unique and custom generated. Currently looks like it's made out of terracotta, actual stomach, and all of these are distinct and unique from each other. They all have different seeds, and they all share a seed, so they generate this lovely little tube kind of pattern. And each stomach has two portals, one on each end. More if things go very strange, but this is just what it should be. And these are made of a portal block, which if it interacts with a tile entity up in the top of it, that allows it to know where it should put you, which means these are portals with variable destination points, so you go through them and you go to wherever the whale was last sighted. And indeed, if I type this, we can find our whale friend that we just left. Now that was not spawned, that I just left, so that is not a permanently loaded location. The whale is actually chunk loading a 3x3 around itself, and that is allowing it to actually track itself, move around, and tell the stomach where it should actually be, deposited if you should leave. And that basically means that you will go into the stomach from wherever the whale is, and you will leave wherever the whale has then since gone. And the hope is that I can make those things reasonably codominous. So if the stomach is being loaded by a player, then the whale is being loaded by chunks, that kind of thing. But we currently have just stained clay around here. It's going to be replaced with a whale flesh block of various colors, and if you break that, you'll get some edible noms should you somehow start to starve inside of a whale's stomach, but also doing so will deal some degree of damage to the actual whale. And there will be a bare minimum volume that you must maintain inside of a big given stomach, or the whale will just straight up die. So there is a degree of actual maintenance involved when you're dealing with whales. This water will be a form of stomach acid, which is very similar to the acid we have, except it won't, like, tunnel through blocks, and you won't be able to get a bucket of it. And the glass down there is standing in for ambergris, which is another block that will be added for the whale stomach's decor and whatnot. We're planning on having some other world gen inside of here, so you'll have various, like, flotsam, jetsam, and occasionally an actual ship, and occasionally even more so, like, castaway kind of, like, traders, which won't all be villagers. They might even, in fact, at some points be kobolds, that kind of thing. So there's planned to be a lot of variety between different stomachs, but obviously the major thing that we have an advantage here is you now can have a 2x2 spectral box. If you've ever played with Random Things mod, you'll know that every player gets a one chunk 16x16x16 block space within which they can do whatever they like, and nobody else can get in there. Here, we functionally have 4 times that space, because this is 32x32x32, and anybody can access it as long as they can get to the right whale. But of course, if you lose the whale, if it dies by any means, then you lose all access to the stomach. It will immediately try to kick you all out back where the whale was last sighted, and you will not get back the entities or items that were inside of here. So there is some risk and reward involved with handling whales and as such. But if I hop out here, then we can see there is currently a bug. Yeah, there's, as I say, there's a lot that I'm trying to work on here, trying to make sure it works. So right now the portal is having trouble finding the Talenty upstairs, but yeah, things to figure out. Thankfully, I do have the dim command to make sure I can just get back. So let's see if we can find. Yep, there's our whale right there. And yeah, there's bugs that I need to fix that we're working on, but this is a big thing. This is a significant kind of endeavor. But once it works, oh boy, will it be fun. And there's other contexts I had to think about, like it loads the chunk so it can keep moving, and also so that we don't lose it when it goes into an unloaded chunk, and what happens if it unloads because there's nobody in the stomach because somebody logged out in the stomach and then they log back in? How does the stomach then reload the whale, that kind of thing? So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be figured out and hammered down and nailed down before I can really start to get into the nitty-gritty of things. But for right now, we have relatively nice-looking demo, I guess, stomachs, and we are starting to get a whale together. And that's what I have for you right now. So I hope you've all enjoyed. There have been a couple of release updates, and they are mostly bug fixes, including a bug fix for the bug fix patch. And that consequently means that pretty much all of the major bugs that at the very least I'm aware of have been squashed. So if you haven't added the new version 5 of various oddities to your pack or whatever yet, then feel free to give it a shot now. It should hopefully be significantly more stable. But as ever, if you encounter a bug, open an issue on CurseForge. And with that, hope you've enjoyed. Catch you all next time.